Roy Torgersen from Nido Robotics, who will tell us about underwater robots of the future. Roy, please.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. Are you seeing my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now we are starting to see. Yes, now it's perfect.
All right. So, my name is Roy Torgersen. I'm the founder and CEO of Nido Robotics. Nido Robotics was founded in 2016. And our mission is to support humanity in achieving our most ambitious goals through intelligent robots. We see ourselves sort of like the mainly as the integrator, the last step towards market readiness. We founded the company in 2016. Since then, we have deployed more than 190 robots worldwide to 26 countries. We operate today from 2 locations, one in Spain, that's our main base, and we also have a sales and support office in Chile, mostly because of aquaculture. There's a huge demand for our products over there. And we work a lot with different industries like utilities and so on. Now, the common thread that we have seen in all these presentations, I think, is that data is sort of like it's the holy grail today. It's driving every business decision, every political decision. It's basically it's the new oil, right? Except underwater, where most of these jobs are still done pretty much the same way as it has been done the last 20 years. And of course, we are here to change that. Basically, what we are proposing is to be able to do predictive maintenance to permanently deployed underwater robots for data collection and intervention. Now, how does this fit in with sustainability? Obviously, there's a safety aspect here. I'm sorry this is in Spanish, but basically, so obviously underwater diving is a very dangerous task, and sadly, lives are lost too often. We even have loss of robots. In these cases, that's fine. We're just losing some time to rebuild it, to build a new one. Well, that's perfectly okay. And what we're seeing with this is that a lot of these industries, by deploying these robots permanently in their plants and training their own people to do these kind of jobs, and basically by increasing the cadency of these inspections, they're capable of detecting things that they didn't even imagine. So one of these cases is a utility company we're working quite closely with. They initially thought that they would save some money and de-risk diving operations, but what they actually found was that they were flushing their pipelines with biocide, with the chemical compounds on a monthly basis. And by increasing the inspections, they noticed that they were actually overdoing it. So they could reduce the cadency from the flushing. In this process, they calculated that they've saved about $250,000 per plant. And obviously also it has a huge impact, a positive impact, this change on our environments. Another case that we talk about a lot is a desalination plant who detected a problem for where they had a slightly reduced output from the plants, and we were just there to hand over the robot at that time, so we did the inspection with them as part of the training program, and we discovered that it was just a piece of plastic that covered one of the pumps. So by removing this piece of plastic, the pump immediately went back to nominal value. And of course, here we're talking about a plant that's producing in terms of 200 cubic meters of fresh water per day. So even a 5% decrease or increase is a significant impact, both environmentally, but also in efficiency and economically. So what the common thread that we're seeing here is that economy and ecology are actually two pieces of the same story. Again, maximizing asset performance. If we look at shipping, it's been overly demonstrated today that biofouling it reduces the ship's speed quite a lot. It increases at the same time. It increases the fuel consumption as much as 10%. So here again, of course, we have huge amount of savings and also a huge amount of fuel savings, which again translates into less CO2 put into the environment. And again, the common thread here is by deploying these robots permanently on site, we get these benefits, which generally have been either by using divers or as an ad hoc thing, calling in external companies to do the job. Part of this obviously is sort of eliminating the difficulty of using these robots. And what our innovation is in different areas, but one of the main innovations that I'm very proud of is simplifying the system. And we generally say that you can complete an underwater job in 5 easy steps. So basically, you set up the robot, you connect everything on the surface, all the physical systems, you ensure that everything is ready to launch. You input some basic data about the job that you're going to do, and then you put it into the water. While you're doing the inspection, you get all these different types of information. You can connect other sensors to the system as well and review and view in real time data from sensors and so on. Obviously, you also get alerts. So if some problems is starting up with the robots, you can then, you don't need to be a super expert you get these alerts pretty much in your face, like this alarm, which shows up in red, right? You can also click on different parts of the screen and sort of change parameters on the fly. One of the most important parts with this new software is that you can actually mark point of interest as you go. These are saved in a database. And then at the end of the day, the value here is the report. It's not really about the robot. It's about the information. It's about the data you can extract from this process. And a lot of that is in these points of interest. So eventually here, when you finish the inspection, you bring the robot up, you click finish job, and then this report is generated automatically in the cloud. So either you can have a 4G, we've already tested this with 4G connection and it works pretty well. Obviously with 5G connection, we expect that we can be able to actually pilot and control the robots through the internet remotely. But if you have the 4G connection, this can actually be uploaded on the fly. And once you finish the job, you just add on, make the final touches to the report, you click send, and this is automatically sent to all the stakeholders that are involved in the task. We can do a lot of jobs today. We're talking about cleaning, water sampling, environmental data, recovering objects, 3D mapping, and I've taken a lot of notes from these talks, so I will be reaching out. Obviously, underwater robots is not something new. They've been existing since the 60s. But where we differentiate ourselves is particularly in the easy to deploy segment and also the modularity, so that we can add on sensors and other systems. Because at the end of the day, the robot is just a vehicle. It's just to get you where you want to put the sensors, right? Again, we sort of differentiate ourselves from things like being able to customize this robot at a certain scale. We have the software that automatically generates the reports, saving a lot of manual labor. And we also have a patent pending navigation system that use information from different sensors. We don't make the sensors, we just gather the information and we use that to navigate. Looking at the long term, we are moving towards completely autonomous robots. So the initial part there is autonomous navigation to have limited input from the pilots or humans. Also to be able to automatically tag these points of interest through machine learning, and eventually becoming a platform where we connect the robots with the pilots, with the companies that require these kind of services, and eventually also the actual developers of payloads and so on. So Santiago, I'll be giving you a call shortly. At the end of the day here, the end game that we're seeing is that eventually this process will be fully automated. So basically you install a robot somewhere underwater. It could be on a fish farm, it could be in an oil field, and then the robot completes pre-specified tasks and then returns to a garage, a base, where it uploads all the information and sends it back to shore. It can also connect to a tether so that somebody from shore can control it remotely in real time through the internet. Our business model, I mentioned this very quickly. We basically, we're launching now robots as a service model. We also do inspections. We're actually 20 people today working at Nido. And well, this is a bit of our management team. Yeah, and that was my presentation. So pretty short and sweet, hopefully.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much, Roy. And now the questions round. One from Michele. What is the approximately price of the robot? Do you also rent it?
Yeah, so actually with the robots as a service, what we are looking at here is a subscription model. So if we imagine like you subscribe to Netflix or things like that, where you actually, we supply the robots and everything that you need to do the job, and then you just pay a monthly fee. You don't need to worry about upgrading, you don't need to worry about maintenance, you don't need to worry about pretty much anything that goes around the robot. You just focus on getting the job done. So that's probably what's most similar to a rental model. We also sell these robots. We have a pricing that for the SeaView Pro for a base unit is around 15,000 euro. That comes with a 1-year maintenance plan, and the maintenance plan can be renewed on a yearly basis. The SeaView Nano, we're coming out with a new version now next month. We're targeting around 4,000 or 5,000 euro for that. The main differences between the two is the payload capacity. The SeaView Nano has much more limited payload capacity. It's also a lighter vehicle, so it's easier to deploy in difficult to access areas. And then the SeaView Pro can carry additional payloads, sensors, cameras, whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for your answer. Congratulations from Ana Juan. And another question from Joachim. What are the maintenance requirements?
Yes. So the maintenance requirements, from what we've seen from these 4 years, 5 almost, and the 190 robots that we've deployed so far, is that the maintenance requirements depend a lot on the usage and the environment that it's being used in. So there isn't like a straight answer there, but for example, with the maintenance plan that we offer, we include everything except the batteries, which is at the end of the day, it's a consumable.
Okay. Any other question? I do not see. So thank you very much